Dear learners, I am Madhuri Buddha from Department of Education, Bhashiran University, Rohtak. In this module, we shall discuss about tools and techniques of data collection. And in the last lecture, we have studied various data collection tools and techniques and their uses. We also discussed in detail two most important data collection techniques like questionnaire and interview in the part 2 of this module. Today we shall discuss and focus on other data collection techniques which are observation and projective techniques and sociometric techniques. After going through this module, the learners will be able to learn and acquire sufficient knowledge of observation as a tool with its meaning and concept. They will be able to know and explain various methods of observation. They will be able to discuss merits and limitations of observation as a data collection technique. They will be able to explain the meaning and concept of projective techniques. They will be able to explain various types of sociometric techniques. So let us discuss our first tool of this module, which is observation. From the earliest history of scientific studies, observation has been the prevailing method of inquiry. Observation of natural phenomenon, aided by systematic classification and measurement, led to the development of theories and laws of nature forces. Observation continues to characterize all research, experimental, descriptive and qualitative. It is particularly explained when researcher is interested in overt behavior of people. Observation as a fundamental technique of data collection refers to watching of behavior of and listening to other people over time without manipulating and controlling it, and record findings in ways that allow some degree of analytical interpretation and discussion. Observation usually occurs in natural settings, although it can also be used under controlled conditions. It helps the researcher to study and analyze the behavior of people under study. In this regard, we can discuss few definitions. One is by Gould and Head in 1964. Observation is science, and this science begins with observation, experiences, and must ultimately return to observation for its final validation. Another definition is by Cole in 1988. Observation is the process in which one or more person observes what is occurring in some real life situation, and they classify and record pertinent happening according to some planned scheme. The meaning of observation can also be studied from its characteristic. It's a tool of research as well as classical method of scientific inquiry. It is specific, systematic and carefully planned. It is purpose-oriented and executed by an expert. It is qualitative recording of number of instances of desired behavior and subject under studied, and the observational results can be checked and verified to ensure reliability and validity. Process of observation method. As a good data collection technique, observation needs planning, execution and recording and reporting. If we study planning for observation and we discuss the factors one must consider in detail while planning of observation are definition of specific activities. The activities which are to be observed, they need to be defined properly. Second is appropriate group of subjects to observe. Third is the scope of observation, that is individual or group. Next is determination of length of each observation period. How long you are going to observe, that should be defined in advance. Deciding about the instrument and the form of recording and physical position of the observer. Determining the special conditions required for the subjects. Preparation of proper tools for recording the observation. Getting oneself trained in terms of expertness as an observer. These are some planning aspects for observation as when we use observation as a tool for data collection. Second aspect is execution of the observation. An expert execution demands proper arrangement of special conditions for the subjects, assuming the proper physical position for observing, focusing attention on the specific activities or units of behavior under observation, observing directly the length and number of periods and the intervals decided upon, handling well the recording instruments to be used, utilizing the training received in terms of expertness. These are the aspects which need to be taken care of while executing the observation. And the next aspect is recording and interpreting the observation. The two common procedures for recording observation are, first is simultaneous during the observation. When the observer goes on recording his observation simultaneously with the occurrence of the phenomenon, as in time sampling, and the next is soon after the observation, when the observer undertakes to record his observation not simultaneously with his actual observation but immediately after he has observed for a long time while the details are still fresh in mind. Now let us discuss the types of observation. First is participant and non-participant observation. In participant observation, the observer becomes more or less one of the participants in the groups under observation. In such situations, the observer will be in sight of the person being observed and may actually take part in some activity with the individual or group. The observer may play as one of the several roles in observation with varying degree of participation, as a visiting stranger, an attentive listener, an eager learner, or more complete role as a participant observer. And in non-participant observation, the observer remains aloof from the group. He keeps his observation as inconspicuous as possible. It is used with such groups as those of infants, children, or abnormal persons. And the next type is structured versus non-structured observation. In structured observation, the investigator must be ready to shift from his original plans to the study of aspects which he sees as more significant. The observation is wide and unstructured in the early stages, gets restricted and structured as the investigation proceeds. So let us discuss what are the advantages of observation as a method of data collection tool. First is significant aspects of personality which express themselves in behaviors can be best studied directly through the observation rather indirectly through questionnaire and interview. Second, simple observation of physical aspects of school building or students or teachers are made through physical examination, measurement, assessment and comparison with fixed standards. Next is observation in the classroom is made to analyze learning behavior, which is a more complex phenomenon, and to improve classroom performance. Next is, now let us discuss what are the limitations of observation as a tool. First is the lack of competence of the observer, which may hamper the validity and reliability of the observation. The problem of subjectivity and possibility of distortion are also there. The people being observed become conscious and begin to behave in an unnatural manner. So these are some limitations of observation as a tool of data collection. Now let us discuss our next techniques. These are the projective techniques. Projective techniques are used to assess areas of personality that cannot be measured easily by other means or areas in which direct questions are not likely to be answered truthfully. The techniques disguise their purpose in such a way that the individual unconsciously projects his personality through his responses to series of fluid and weakly structured stimuli. The subject is presented with ambiguous stimuli such as pictures, ink blots, words, unfinished sentences, and is asked to describe or interpret what he sees or to complete a sentence. In doing so, naturally, he unconsciously projects his own desires, hopes, fears, repressed wishes, and thus not only reveals his inner or private world, but also gives indication on the basis of which his total personality may be asserted. Some common projective techniques are like Rorschach plot test. This test was developed by Hermann Rorschach. He was a Swiss psychiatrist. The material used in this test consists of 10 cards on which there were ink blots, and 5 of them were black and white and 5 were multicolored. These ink blots are completely unstructured and the shapes of the blots do not have any specific meaning. The test is administered in such a way that the cards are presented one at a time in a specified order with the instructions. The subject is allowed to take as much time as he likes and may give as many the responses as he wishes. The responses are scored on the basis of the categories. First is location. Location refers to the part of the blot. Then content. It refers to what it is seen on the blot, like the pictures of the animals or human faces or natural objects like rivers, sun, etc. The originality. It refers to the popular or the rare responses. And the determinants. It refers to the manner of the perception, that is the form of the blot or the color or the movement or the shading. It is therefore therefore only through various kinds of relationships, observations, records and interpretation of results from various parts that a final global picture about the subject's personality is drawn. Another projective technique is thematic appreciation test, TAT test. This test consists of perception of certain picture in a thematic manner, that is revealing imaginative themes. It was introduced by Henry Murray to measure the need for achievement. It consists of 30 pictures which portray human being in a variety of actual life situations. 10 of these cards are meant for male, 10 for the females and 10 are common for both the sexes. The maximum number of pictures used on any one subject is 20. The test is administered in 2 sessions using 10 pictures in each session and the pictures are presented one by one at a time. They are vague and indefinite. There is no right or wrong response. The subject has to make up a story for each picture within a fixed period of time. In making up the stories, the subjects unconsciously project several characteristics of his or her personality and the stories express his or her desire, natural life desires and likes and dislikes, ambitions, emotions and sentiments. Next projective technique is Children's Appreciation Test, CAT test. This test has been developed by Dr. Leopold Belak and can be used for children between the age of 3 to 10 years. The test consists of 10 cards. The cards have pictures of animals instead of human characters, since it was thought that the children could identify themselves with animal figures more readily than with the human figures. These animals are shown in various real life situations. Pictures are designed to evoke fantasies relating to the child's own experiences, reactions and feelings, and the child's personality is reflected in whatever story emerges. It is color-free test and interpretation of stories centered on following variables like the hero, the theme, end of the story, attitude towards parental figures, family role, nature of anxieties, defenses and the confidence, etc. And the next projective technique is word association test. This test consists of a number of selected words. The subject is told that the examiner would speak a series of words, one word at a time, and the subject should immediately say the word which comes to his mind first, and there is no right or wrong response. The examiner then records the reply to each word spoken by him, the reaction time and any unusual speech or behavior manifest which might accompany a given response. Then sentence completion test. It consists of a list of incomplete sentences, generally open-ended, which require completion by the subject in one or more words. The subject is asked to go through the list and answer as quickly as possible. The examples may be like, I am worried as, my hope is, I feel proud when, my hero is. These are certain incomplete sentences which evoke and reflects the personality and the feelings of the respondent. Then the sociometric techniques. Sociometric technique is a broad term indicating a number of methods of gathering and analyzing data on choice, communication and interaction pattern of individuals in a group. It was stated by Kettlinger. And the sociometry is a technique for describing the social relationship among the individuals. In an indirect way, it is used to describe attraction or repulsion between the individuals by asking them to indicate whom they would like to choose or reject in various situations, in various social situations. Such techniques are used in various educational situations to study social adjustment, group dynamics, learning, motivation, discipline and other areas which are based on social relationships. There are mainly some techniques like sociogram, sociometric techniques under sociometric techniques. First is sociogram. The sociogram is often used by the classroom teacher, counselor, psychologist to study the interpersonal relationship of the groups. In the research situations, it is used to study the problems of learning, motivation, discipline and group dynamics. Then sociometric techniques. Sociometric technique is a matrix which is a rectangular arrangement of numbers indicating the choices made by the members of the group. There may be 4 by 4 matrix which has 4 rows and 4 columns. You will find that matrix under the script which will be added in this course. As an example, the question may be asked with whom you would like to work on a group project. The participant can choose 2 mates. The matrix will exhibit his choices, and if you see the table, you will find the person who will be chosen a number of times will be the most popular in his group and he will be called as star. and the one who has not been chosen at all, he will be called as isolate. After sociometric techniques, the third technique is Guess-Who technique. The Guess-Who technique was developed by Harstone and May in 1929 for use particularly with the child raters. In this technique, a student is asked to read each descriptive statement presented to him and then to write down the name of the student who best fits in that description. The student may use more than one name for each statement, and he is to use his own name also. Example of statements may be like the students may be given these type of statements. There is a person who is always doing little things to make others happy. This may be a statement which can be used in this Guess-Who technique. There may be another example like you may give your students this type of statement. There is a person who is disliked by others and has lot of enemies. So there may be some other more examples also which may be used in Guess-Who technique, and the respondents are to give the names. Then the social distance scale. Social distance scale is another technique used in the description and measurement of social relationship. This technique was developed by E.S. Bogardus in 1933. It attempts to assess what degree an individual or a group of individuals is accepted or rejected by another individual or group. Various scaled situations with score values ranging from acceptance to rejection are established, and the individual checks his position by choosing one of the points on the scale. Friends, earlier we discussed questionnaire and interview as two important tools of data collection in our earlier videos, and in this present video we discussed on some other important data collection tools like observation, projective techniques and sociometric techniques in details. I hope you enjoyed this learning session. Thank you.